it so much I had to do it today. Good to have you with us on this Saturday. 1 week from today, I'm going to be in Madison, Wisconsin for Bob Fest. And I found out yesterday that I'm going to be the featured speaker, closing out the program at 6 o'clock on Saturday. 1 week from today, that would be the 19th. I'm looking forward to it. Bob Fest is quite a deal. It's where progressives gather and have a heck of a rally. There's going to be a number of different speakers there. I'm looking forward to it. Then on September 30th, I will be in Cleveland, Ohio, and I'll have details for that here at WeGotEd.com. And also, I will be in Youngstown, Ohio on October 1st, the next day. So, and I'm a Bernie guy, all right? And I'm going to pound this table, and this is how you get the attention of people who just aren't quite sure if Bernie can win or Bernie this, that, and the other. First of all, there has been such an examination of why Bernie can't win, to the point where, interesting article in the New York Times, how they're dissing the guy. There's polling being done by major organizations out there that do not include questions about Bernie Sanders going head-to-head against Republican candidates. Now, I think that there is somewhat of a corporate foregone conclusion that, Bernie's just going to go away eventually. He doesn't have the Clinton machine. Let me give you a wake-up call, and you can counter what I'm saying and go back and research it. What is happening to the Clinton campaign right now rivals and parallels exactly what happened to the Clinton campaign when she was up against Barack Obama in 2008. They don't know what to do, they don't have a pulse of the people, and they don't know how to recover. And the issues are much more intense now, and the controversy surrounding Clinton is much more severe with the email. Now Bill Clinton comes out and says, well, I don't think she should apologize. What, is that supposed to give her some kind of political cover? Look, it's the issues. It's not what Bernie is saying about anybody else, including Hillary. It's about what he is saying about the issues and where he is on the issues. And so now Clinton comes out and says this about Donald Trump, which I found very interesting.
And there is one particular candidate who just seems to delight in insulting women every chance he gets. I have to say, if he emerges, I would love to debate him.
Oh, is that supposed to be swagger or is that arrogance? That isn't going to help Hillary Clinton a bit. And I think she better be concerned about debating somebody else before she goes face-to-face with Donald Trump, because that day may never come. That day may never come. Because right now, the momentum is with Sanders. Joe Biden's getting cold feet, if you pay attention to his most recent interviews. And Hillary just can't get any mojo because these issues of trustworthiness, the email scandal, Benghazi, it's all just bringing it down. They don't know how to handle it. So the most recent polling out there shows that Bernie Sanders now leads Hillary Clinton 41% to 40% in the Iowa and New Hampshire polling. And in Iowa, it's the first time that Bernie Sanders has taken the lead on Hillary Clinton, even though it's within the margin of error. But think about where we were 2 months ago or 3 months ago. Bernie Sanders was light years behind Hillary Clinton in polling. Not anymore. He responded.
Yes, I'm stunned. Look, we have a message that I believe from day one was going to resonate with the American people. And the message is there's something wrong in this country when the great middle class continues to disappear. Almost all new income and wealth goes to the top 1%. When millions of families cannot afford to send their kids to college. So I thought that those issues would resonate. But did I think they would resonate as quickly as they have? The answer is no.
What is Bernie Sanders proving to America? You don't need the corporate media behind you to get a movement going. You don't need the corporate media kissing your ass every night to get up in the polls. In fact, they have ignored him immensely. They've ignored him. They haven't treated him like a real serious candidate by any stretch of the imagination, by my estimation, by my analysis. Now, there is this narrative. We did a podcast, a video cast on this last week, and when I asked Bernie Sanders last time I talked to him about this narrative surrounding him that he can't win, now the mainstream media is asking him about it. Here it is.
Some people say, well, Bernie, you can't win this election. And let me repeat what I've said before. In November, the Republicans didn't win the election. The Democrats lost the election because the voter turnout was abysmally low. Low-income people not voting, 80% of young people not voting. Wolf, if you come to the rallies that we hold, what you're going to see is a lot of working class people. You're going to see a lot of young people who are now prepared to get involved in the political process. And the way the Democrats win, not only the White House, but Congress and legislatures and governor seats, is when we have a large voter turnout. I think I could do a good job in expanding the voter turnout.
That is confidence, and that's real. And I love the comment, Wolf, if you come to our rallies. The major corporate media figures have not been going to Bernie Sanders' rally. I've been there in Madison when he was there, and I'm going to be at more places. And I'm going to be stumping for Bernie across this country because I believe he'd be the best across-the-board choice to be president of the United States. All right, so he's made gains in Iowa. He's been leading for some time in New Hampshire. What's the next state? Well, it's South Carolina. Joining us, Larry Cohen, former president of Communication Workers of America, also the head of Democracy Initiative. The chairman there has spent some time in South Carolina and is a straight shooter and a straight talker, no question about it. Larry, good to have you with us.
My pleasure.
What do you hear in South Carolina? What do you make of the most recent polling?
Well, it's interesting. So in the last week, I spent 4 days in Iowa and 2 days in South Carolina, and I hear exactly the same things. This is a new populism. It's independence among voters. It's working people of all types, whether they're union or not, saying enough is enough, and that they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, that there's no change among these traditional candidates, and it's not working. It's not working for their kids when they go to college and amass enormous debt, which is getting worse every year. It's not working for working people, particularly those who have no union. They're defenseless. They don't even know what the conditions are at work. They change all the time at will. And people are fed up. They're fed up with the trade deals, as you've talked about. They're fed up with even the notion of the Trans-Pacific Partnership and competing with 50-cent-an-hour wages in Vietnam and having Democrats go along with it. And the other major candidate, Hillary Clinton, silent on it. They don't want silence. They want commitment. They want people who reflect our values, not this notion that, well, that's the best you can get. We're fed up with what's the best we can get. We're ready to fight for our values and our view.
Bernie Sanders was asked about the differences between he and Hillary Clinton.
But I will tell you the differences between the secretary and myself. I voted against the war in Iraq. I believe over a period of years we should raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. I believe we should reestablish Glass-Steagall to start breaking up these large financial institutions on Wall Street. I am very opposed to our current trade policies and helping to lead the effort against the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The Secretary has not made a decision on that. I am strongly against the Keystone Pipeline because I think we need to radically transform our energy system. Secretary has not made a statement on that as well.
Well, that's a litany of things, and he's spot on. And when he talks about Hillary not coming clean on trade or the oil pipeline, he's exactly correct. And Hillary has not said that she would break up the big banks. So are these differences connecting with people who are paying attention, Larry, from what you see?
Absolutely. You know, talking to dock workers in Charleston, they absolutely get it. Largely African-American, and they are still in the middle class because of their union. But they absolutely get the connection to Bernie and what their values are and where they want this country to go, and they are right with him. This notion that his support is all white is ridiculous. I've been on marches in Raleigh 10 days ago, South Carolina the last 2 days, and even in Iowa with Latinos and Native Americans. This is, again, part of the corporate media trying to drive wedges instead of looking for what unites working Americans, regardless of the color of our skin or our background or our faith or whatever. We're united by these values. And I see these values working across the South, when we organize. And today he'll be, last night he spoke in Atlanta. A great CWA leader, he's African-American, introduced them, and it was a mixed turnout there. Today he's doing 3 meetings in South Carolina, tomorrow night in Greensboro. the South is going to light up here with this populist message that can unite this country. And that's why I'm committed to working so hard as a volunteer like you.
So it seems absolutely. So it seems like that there's almost a campaign strategy against Sanders to make people believe that he's not connecting with African Americans, that he's not connecting with the Latino community, and they throw it out that, well, he's from a white state of Vermont and has not had any diversity. I mean, it seems like that's one of the strong things that's being thrown at Bernie right now. But if you look at his record and you listen to what he's saying and he's paying attention to where he wants to take the country, it's a much different story.
It's a totally different story. I think it's absolutely deliberate. And again, what is true is that Secretary Clinton has the old guard, whether they're black or white, and particularly the old guard that's elected, the traditionalists. And in many cases, she and her husband, the former president, did walk with them when they were up for election. They're calling in their chips. But in terms of the base of an American electorate, I see no difference. And I've talked to thousands of people on this campaign myself already, one-on-one, and even more in big groups. I see no difference between black, white, Latino, and how they react to this message.
And you see a path to the finish line that is positive for Bernie Sanders. Do you believe? Yeah,
absolutely. I think it does. Yeah, sorry.
Well, do you believe he could defeat Hillary Clinton in the long run?
Yeah, I do. I think it starts with Iowa and New Hampshire, and that's why there's such an emphasis there. And, I met amazing staffers. I was in eastern Iowa, 8 stops, 500 miles last weekend. And I think it goes to New Hampshire, where, he does have a base because of the proximity to Vermont. But then the Southern strategy that we're unrolling now is going to be key. And it's going to be, African-American students at HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities. It's going to be, Dockers in Charleston. It's going to be CWAers across the South. And it's going to be multiracial. And, whether the media covers it or not, that's the reality of it. It's working Americans saying we are fed up and we are going to fight back.
I want to go back to Bernie Sanders on the ground with those workers in Iowa about a week ago. He went on the picket line. Now, here's the difference. And I'm not making this up because I didn't say it. President Obama did. During his campaign, President Obama said that he would walk that picket line with you workers and stand with you. That never happened. Now, that's a fact. He said it, I didn't. Obama's never walked a picket line, not in his presidency or in his candidacy. Bernie Sanders, on short notice, knew that this was unfolding and felt compelled and went there and did it. And it was like the second largest crowd that Iowa has seen in this election cycle. Larry, what impact does that have, if any? Your thoughts?
Huge impact. I was in Cedar Rapids, not with Bernie Friday night, but on Saturday and on Monday. Huge. Everybody there knows he was at Ingredion, which the greed part should be emphasized in the name of that company, and that he went there, and the bakery workers across the country, BCTG&M, not just bakery, are very well aware of what he's done. And union people in South Carolina, where I was yesterday at the AFL-CIO in Georgetown, South Carolina, well aware that, as reported in the media, the last candidate during a presidential campaign to walk on a picket line was Bobby Kennedy in 1968. Now, frankly, that's a disgrace about what the Democratic Party has become. And, I've been a quote, leader of that party. So I didn't realize that myself. Nobody's done that.
I want to emphasize this. The last time a candidate went on a picket line was 1968. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what was reported widely in the media. I honestly didn't research all of that. I know that President Obama, as you just said, talked about it, didn't do it.
Yeah.
But that's the way the media has reported this, starting in Cedar Rapids, but across the country. Yeah, that's the way it's reported, and it's what you said. We need to be walking, not talking. It's not everybody talks during campaign, but where do they walk? And where have they walked before? And Bernie, we had a huge strike, 131 days, through 100 inches of snow this past winter. The electrical workers in the CWA at a company called Fairpoint. Bernie was not only out there, he took on the company CEO repeatedly on our side, made a huge difference in settling that strike. He walks the walk all the time. Every union, every community organization, whether it's fighting foreclosures or whatever it is, fighting for our health care, that's what he is, and that's why people are responding. It's not talk. It's what his life's been about.
Larry Cohen, great to visit. Great to have you with us. Thanks so much. We'll do it again. Keep up the fight. Speaking right to the truth of the matter here on Ed Schultz News and Commentary. Thanks, Larry. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Communication Workers of America, Alliance for American Manufacturing, BioGreen Clean of the iSave team bring you this production. Now this. Hey, folks, you've heard me talk about BioGreen Clean. I'm going to show you right now on my airplane just how tough this is. I want you to keep in mind, chemical-free, 100% plant-derived, biodegradable. It is the safest cleaner that you can get, and it's the most effective. Go to our website, wegoted.com, or go to biogreenclean.com. www.biogreenclean and order today. It's time to continue our conversation about mechanical insulation. Mechanical insulation is for the piping systems in our nation's commercial and industrial facilities. Facility owners are burning up billions of dollars through the lack of mechanical insulation on these piping systems. Call the iSave team. Insulation saves America valuable energy, and this team of energy conservation specialists is shovel-ready to save you money. Visit iSaveTeam.org to have a specialist give your plant an energy audit.
We perpetuate a culture of crime all the way from Wall Street right down to the main street in our hometowns. It's worse than it has been since FDR took control of the problem and said we can't count on industry taking care of the American labor. They probably have already engaged into some type of criminal cover-up, and the law prohibits the government from even doing anything about it.
Catch America's lawyer Mike Papantonio on YouTube at youtube.com/GoLeftTV.
From the steel mills of Pennsylvania, to the auto factories of Michigan, to the modern makers movement, manufacturing makes our nation great. I'm Scott Paul, President of the Alliance for American Manufacturing. We bring business and labor together to advocate for policies that everyone can agree on. Together, we can strengthen manufacturing and create good-paying American jobs. Help us keep it made in America.
Subscribe to the Ed Schultz podcast today. Simply log on to iTunes, search for Ed Schultz, and click the subscribe button to have the show delivered to your preferred listening device daily, free of charge. Rate and review the podcast to tell us how we're doing. More details at wegoted.com.
And, of course, we'll have more details at wegoted.com about my visit to Bobfest next Saturday in Madison. Then I'm going to be in Cleveland, Ohio on September 30th. We'll have details there at wegoted.com, and Youngstown, Ohio on October 1st. When something goes bad in a campaign, you have to figure out, okay, what's our path to recovery? Now, in the last election cycle, back in 2012, at a Republican debate, this is a moment that Rick Perry just could not overcome. Remember this?
And I will tell you, it's three agencies of government when I get there that are gone. Commerce, education, and the, what's the third one there? Let's see.
You need five.
Oh, five. Okay. So commerce, education, and the EPA? EPA. There you go. No, okay.
Let's talk deposition. Seriously? Is EPA the one you were talking about? Or?
No, sir. No, sir. We were talking about the agencies of government. EPA needs to be rebuilt. There's no doubt about that.
But you can't name the third one?
The third agency of government, I would do away with the education, the commerce, and let's see, I can't. The third, sorry. Oops.
Now, we all forget stuff. But why would you open your mouth about what you're going to cut from government if you really don't know what it is in your mind at the time you're saying it? Now, was that a senior moment? Or is Rick Perry just a dumbass and just pulling it right out of his rear end whenever he possibly can to throw it out there? Well, he's the first jackass of the Republican field to drop out.
When I gave my life to Christ, I said, your ways are greater than my ways. Your will is superior to mine. Today, I submit to you, his will remains a mystery. But some things have come and become very clear to me. That is why today I am suspending my campaign for the presidency of the United States.
Suspend. That means it might come back. Now, the faith talk that he just gave, no one can argue with that, in my opinion. But where was that talk in 2012 when he wanted to cut all these government agencies that affect people of low income, that affect people who are needy, that affect people who need that Christian connection? So let's just label it, another phony decides not to run for president. And that's exactly what Rick Perry is. He's a rotten son of a bitch and a phony. And it's unfortunate that anybody spent any time listening to what he couldn't remember. This is Ed Schultz News and Commentary. We're back. Have a great weekend. We're back Monday.